This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, today we are going to discuss about Azure Devops because Azure Devops is a cloud environment which nowadays we're using across industries and all everything when people are working on DevOps environment. Because as you all well aware about, nowadays agile environment is extensively working across industries irrespective of the technology, the domain. At the same time, even IT projects and all everything moving towards agile environment followed by this even DevOps environment. The major advantage behind moving on to DevOps environment is to reduce the kind of implementation as the deployment time. Because when you are working on DevOps environment, the major advantage where development team as well as the operations team works on the same platform. Hence, the amount of time you are spending to complete the project and all everything will become limited. At the same time, there will be no much complexity. Because earlier days, if you see in project development, there is lot of requirements won't get changes mostly because when there is a requirement given by the customer, it remains standstill. That's how the position earlier was. But nowadays, the situation has changed in such a way where there are a lot of changes in reference to the application development were happening, where someone has to taken care of it properly. Means if there is any kind of changes happens in the project development, someone has to do those changes accordingly. That's how the situation which is required now. When we are working on the DevOps environment, earlier if you see, there will be a development team as separate, deployment team as separate. So you are working on the project at the same time, there will be someone who will be taken care of by the deployment as separate. There will be a deployment team as separate who will be taking care of the deployment. Nowadays, in reference to the Azure DevOps itself is concerned, DevOps environment itself is concerned, the major advantage, even development team followed by the deployment team, everybody will be working on the same platform, so that there will be more coordination among these people. Hence, the project can be implemented very fast, and whatever the required changes to be made into the existing one can be done accordingly. So that is the reason why mostly people are working on DevOps environment as far as the technical team itself is concerned, working on DevOps environment now. Apart from the development team, whatever I may talking about. Because Azure DevOps environment followed by Agile, both combinations are successful nowadays. Agile by imparting some values and principles of Agile is adding into the existing ones. At the same time, people are working on the DevOps environment, so both combinations are working. In this regard, if you want to manage any of the projects, especially in Agile, so there is a tool called Jira Project Management Tool. Jira is a project management bug tracking tool using across industries for a very long time. We are using it. At the same time, there is another tool called Azure Devops. So what is that are we going to discuss is this, because Azure Devops is a kind of tool which is also similar to that sort, but it's more combination towards DevOps environment, and it's a cloud account, something relating to Azure, because Microsoft Azure, I can say, right? It's powered by Microsoft Corporation, Azure DevOps. So this is a cloud service provider where we can create different projects. Whatever the dashboards in reference to the project itself is concerned, everything can be created. Now, what is that I am showing you is all about the cloud-based application. I have taken an application called cloud-based point of sale system. Cloud-based point of sale system means point of sale system is the application which is used for billing at the retail stores in different parts of the locations. So this application I'm developing is a cloud-based application, so that whoever is using the application doesn't require any infrastructure as separate. So if they have an internet or a laptop with a internet connection itself is sufficient, so that they can do the billing, everything. So whatever the customer records, customer data, report generations, everything can be uploaded on the cloud. So wherever we are available, we can take up, right? That's what the thing is. So I just created a project of cloud-based point of sale system in Azure DevOps environment. Now, what is that I'm showing you? I'm showing you how generally we have to invite people, because this is an account we have created for the benefit of the people to work with. So first of all, what is that we have to do? We need to invite people, means people who are there, users and all everything. Those users have to be involved here. Now here I'm inviting the people first, whoever are there in the projects. First of all, whoever are relating to the project, those people I'm inviting. Okay. So if you want to invite people and all, first of all, you need to add users to this, right? So this is what generally I am using, right? So I am adding few people first, right? L9 training or L9 trainings, right? So this is what these are the two things which I have added. I am adding these two. Assume that, so these are the two members. Assume that these are the two people which I am adding to the existing ones. So whenever we are inviting the people, we have to add the people first. We have to send an invitation to them. And based upon the invitation, those people can be added. Here you can see successfully added two users. Two users were added to the project. So whoever is working on the project, those people must be a part of this. So for that, first of all, very first thing, what is that we have to do is we need to send an invitation to them. We have to make people to invite to the project so that people will get invited to the existing ones. So invitation we have to send. Now, what is that we have to do? Here there is an option where you can create work items. Means, for example, if there is an application called cloud-based point of sale system, where we can create different epics, tasks, all that. So this is all something. So there is a difference. See, there are two differences you need to understand. Epic nothing but large scale of solution. Okay, whatever the application you are developing, Epic nothing but large scale of solution. At the same time, in this Epic, whatever the user stories you are writing and all everything are the short descriptions of the functionalities. If you feel that user story is more complex, what we can do, we can divide it into task queue. So epics has to be created, tasks has to be created, at the same time issues can also be created accordingly. Issues means user story will be divided into multiple parts. Those we call it as task and subtask. Issue nothing but user story, right? That's how it is. Now, if you want to add some new work items into the existing one, here there is an option called Epic. Click on this Epic here, where you can create Epic first, right? So Epic title has to be mentioned here. That is the first thing which we have to do. Now, I'm taking one project here. So I'll tell you how to create Epics for that. Let's say this is the cloud-based application related document. In this, you can see there are different features were mentioned, right? So CRM loyalty, franchise multi-location, hardware in cash register, inventory management system, right? So all these were mentioned. Now what is that I am doing is I am taking one different functionalities which I am converting as an epic. Okay, CRM loyalty is what the epic first. Now what I am doing, this feature I am taking as a epic. CRM loyalty required and CRM loyalty application for better coordination. Right. That's what generally I have created. Okay, I have just created an epic here. Right, I am not adding anything. I have just created an epic wherein simply I have added. Right, so I have added cloud-based point of sale system epic was created here. Right, so that is the first thing which I did. Now, whereas when I'm talking about when I want to create any other epics, all that stuff, that epics can also be created here successfully. So when we are talking about epic and all that stuff, whatever the epics we are created, whatever the new epics we have created, so these new epics have to be entered here accordingly. Now the second one, franchise and multi-location, need to locate the franchisees where they were appeared. Right, so appeared. Right. So that's what generally I have taken. Right. So this is one more epic which was created here. Right. So that is one thing. Right. So epic was what created here. Now, whatever the epics generally, what is that we have created in reference to the application development. So dashboards can also create because we can create a dashboards for the existing application. What is that we are doing now? But as far as this project itself is concerned, so I have not created any dashboard so far. So that I am going to create the dashboards and all everything in the different in coming days and all. Now here you can see whatever the backlog, in this backlog I have created two epics, you can see, right? So there are two different epics which was created already. Two different epics were created already here. So these are the work items, whatever the work items and all everything. So in this backlog you can see whatever the work items and all everything. So in the reference to this existing one, if you want to write any kind of task and all everything, you can write. So here you can see these are the two different work items which was created as a part of my project, whatever the project I have created. So these are the two things which I am going to create one more here, right? So one more is hardware and cash register. One more item. Require a cash register, so that require a cash register followed by the hardware to manage. Hardware to manage, right? That's what I have taken. Just clicking on save, right? Earlier I have taken save and this thing, save and close. Now I am just clicking on save. Okay. Now there are three different epics we have created. What we can do for every epic, whatever the epic we have created. So this is an epic we have created here. In reference to the particular epic, whatever the related and required task to be prepared and all everything has to be written. Apart from that, if you want to write any kind of description in reference to the existing epic, what is that we have created? So that description can be written here accordingly as well. Now required a crash register followed by the hardware to manage. So we require a solution. Here I'm writing the description. We require a solution to create a crash register so that followed by managing a hardware so that I can update my cash transactions, etc. Right? So this is what I have created, right? This is what the description I have written. So description was mentioned here. Now, if you want to provide any kind of priorities to that, these priorities can be given. These priorities can be given based upon the points, what is that we have taken. I have just given the priority as 3. Now, if I want to add any kind of links to the existing item, for the existing item, if there is any kind of links to be added to that, or else if you want to add some any kind of new items to the existing application, where I can do it. This is one thing which we can do. At the same time, there is an option here where we call it as change type. If you want to change any kind of types and all, everything can be changed here. At the same time, any templates to be captured or something like that sort, those templates can also change. At the same time, we can create a new link work item, which we can create and we can update here accordingly. Hence, I'm just mentioned the description part here. I'm just clicking on save. Okay. So in this work items, you can see there is a requirement which was given here, right? So here, if you want to write, you can write down the descriptions, whatever the description items and all everything. So those description items can be updated here, right? So there is a description we have written. At the same time, if you want to add any kind of tag to the existing stuff, the tag can be created, the tag can be updated here. At the same time, there are priority items which has added. Next, if you want to see any kind of history in reference to the work, what is that we have done so far, these updations and all everything can also be seen here, so that people can see all this. Now, if you want to add any kind of links to the existing one, right, to the existing item, if you want to add any kind of links, whatever the link types, all that stuff. If you, for example, if there is a link which is something relating to build part, right? So there is any build part and all everything. So those build parts items and all everything. so can also be linked here. At the same time, if you want to add any kind of change sets or something like change id set has to be mentioned here. Followed by this, we need to write down the comment so that link can be updated here accordingly so that people can see this. Along with this, there are some options where we can see if you want to email any kind of work item of this. So this work item can be updated. So this is whatever the records we were mentioning as far as the project creation, everything will be updated here. And at the same time, if there is any kind of filters to be created, or if they wants to hide any kind of filters, all that stuff, everything can be created. Along with this, so here is a board where you can see whatever the items you can see if you want to add any kind of items to the board. So those items can be added here. Right. So board can be good as created. Of course, we haven't created any board so far. If you want to create any kind of new work items into the existing product backlog, where we can create so that we can see whatever is needed. Along with that, sprint developments, because sprint development will be done by the development team. If you want to create any kind of sprints to the existing board, so that sprint development can be taken into account, right? So sprint development and sprint planning and all everything. These sprint plannings can be done, and whatever the required and relevant sprints we have taken, sprint one, right? So sprint one is what we have taken. So the priority we have given it as three, right? So the three priority was given. Here we have to mention the description part, all that. At the same time, to whom we have assigned this, right? So to whom we are assigning this, and for what purpose is this is being assigned, all that information. One must be updated. So if there is any kind of development related links to be added, right? So if you want to add any kind of development links, any kind of development links to be added to the existing things, all that. So these links can be updated so that we can see the changes, all that, whatever the required changes and all everything. So those changes can be done here accordingly. So this is where generally new items, all that stuff can be seen. At the same time, here is a backlog in the sprint where we have to create this backlog for the particular project so that we can see. At the same time, if there is any kind of test plans for an application, what is that we are creating? If there is any kind of test plans, whatever the test reports, or if you want to run any kind of artifacts, all that stuff, those artifacts and all everything can also be mentioned, right? So because these artifacts, different artifacts we have to create. So whatever the artifacts like the planning related stuff or development related, or if you want to connect to any kind of sources, whatever we have created, all that. So these create feeds, all that. So if you want to create any kind of feed, wherein you have to provide the number for that, but make sure if you are a member of an free account is entirely different. Otherwise, if you are an Azure Active Directory member, then the options and all everything will also be different. So scope is relating to the cloud-based point of sale system what we have created. So we have to create a new feed so that permissions can be taken whenever and wherever it is needed. So this is how generally a cloud-based point of sale system which I have created in Azure DevOps environment. So it gives us a clear understanding about the kind of team, what is to be managed, how the team can be managed. At the same time, we are integrating this with the DevOps environment so that both development and as well as implementation, at the same time deployments, if you want to add any new things and all everything to the existing ones, everything can be done here accordingly so that people will use it in an effective manner. So this is what the overall view about the Azure DevOps, how people are using and for what purpose people are using is all about. So this is all for now. If you have any kind of requirement or if you have any kind of doubts in regard to Azure DevOps, all that stuff, or else if you have any kind of training requirements in reference to Azure DevOps, please reach out to our details which was posted in the below to this video. Thank you.